All right, this is now attempt number 37 to do the Kyle and Corin podcast. What's up, everybody? No, seriously, dude, I now I hate technology with every fiber of my being right now. You have
You're gonna
no
be like
idea.
fucking applying for jobs with like Skype and technology shit soon with all the shit you've gone through.
Oh my god, man. So, I don't even want to tell the story again. So last week, we uh we tried to record a podcast, and I'm the idiot that didn't realize that like my screen recorder only can hear the audio of one of us. So it was Corin's voice the whole time, and then me. You heard absolutely nothing. Not even a low thing. Not even like a little bit of audio. Me, it was nothingsville. So that podcast was done, and it sucks. It was a great podcast. It's a shame that we couldn't
Yeah,
upload that.
I'll
And
say
then
it for like the 400th time though, real quick. It's like our text chain. If you would just delete like one of us, it would just be the weirdest fucking. You would just be listening to the weirdest shit. You'd be like,
yeah, no,
"What is he talking about?"
it'd be silence, silence, and you're like taco meat, and
Yeah,
everybody's like, "What the fuck does that mean?" So then today, we just tried again to record. I had to download this whole new fucking program and put in a registration key and then go through some fucking steps and look at my email and blah 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 blah. And I think I just got it, but I might not have gotten it. But either way,
uh,
Corner and I are just gonna keep talking now because I
yeah.
can't deal with this fucking technology bullshit anymore. By the way,
But that's
today's
the worst when you sign up for some shit and they're like, "We sent you a verification code to your phone. Type that code into to
yeah.
your email, and then your email will set up to your blog, which will register you for the website."
Yeah, it's like fuck you. I don't want to go through all that shit. I just ordered my shit. Make it work. Like why do I have to do
Exactly.
anything? Put in numbers or anything?
Oh,
But
oh,
the theme of today's show is me being a grandpa. There's a few things I want to talk about how I'm a grandpa. Number one is, as you're seeing right now, fuck technology. That's the first theme of the
yeah.
show. But the other thing, sticking with this grandpa theme here for a second, we'll get to LeBron's dick in a little bit. Um, but I saw on Twitter right before I came, me and you came to do the podcast here.
Hmm.
The number one trending thing is
What?
hashtag Zayn is coming back.
Oh, yes.
I don't. That's like half
I
serious. Don't
sadly
lie.
don't know what that fucking is, which is I'm so mad at myself for knowing that shit.
Yeah, I got to tell you my honest reaction. Now, first of all, before I even give you my honest reaction, like I get it. Like this makes me a grandpa in a way, and like I've made the argument before on my show that the only reason people like the music they
Uh,
like is because of the culture they were raised in and because of the time they were raised, and like everybody thinks their generation's music is the best music because that's the shit that
yeah,
they heard all the time. So it's understandable that people who were raised in the '60s go the '60s music was the best. You know, people raised in the
yeah.
'40s go the fucking ridiculous '40s music was the best. So like I get it that I'm totally subjective on this yada yada, but I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I thought when I heard that was because it's One Direction, Zayn, like
Yeah.
the newer boy band that everybody loves. I was like, these kids don't know anything about boy bands. What
Oh,
what do they know
yeah.
about
We're
boy bands?
boy band.
Who knows about boy bands? We know about boy bands growing up in the
Hell yeah.
'90s. I mean, it honestly, it kind of it like upsets me a little bit that if I go back and look at like bands or singers that were popular in the '90s,
Yeah.
SecularTalk is now more has more subscribers than they do. Like there's a lot of good artists from the '90s that
Yeah.
at least on YouTube, I'm more famous than them on YouTube, and that upsets me. I
Gangster.
don't get me wrong, I like it. Like Slash, this is a humble brag because I'm happy that we're
Yeah.
successful, et cetera, et cetera. But like when I see somebody like Hanson, I have
Oh,
more YouTube subscribers than fucking Hanson, the people who sang Mbop.
they were the shit, man.
That one song was awesome. They never
That
did
was the
anything else.
shit.
But like
But the
Backstreet
thing about
Boys, NSYNC, like that, those are boy bands.
yeah, you have more than Backstreet Boys and
No, no, no,
NSYNC?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
I do not have. Let's be clear. No, I don't have more. NSYNC. I don't. They've been broken up for so long that it's possible I do, but I still doubt I do. I haven't
yeah.
checked. But
But
Backstreet
there's like
Boys, I
weird
don't.
bands like 112 and like
Oh
just
yeah.
like weird shit that you don't I can't even think of any others, but Brian McKnight was like the man, you know,
Yeah.
but like he fell off and like you probably have more like followers and subscribers than his shit now and like he killed shit back in the day.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I
Like,
don't know what his numbers.
yeah, we should probably. I mean, to anybody listening right now, you could check. I don't even know if Brian McKnight has a fucking page, has a
That would be a
YouTube.
dope list to like rattle off like just names of people that were like the shit for us. And you're like, I have more than him. I have more than her. And you're like, what? Like Alanis Morissette or something like that? Like someone who like we looked at back in the day and we're like, yo, they're making all the like shit right now, like Jewel or something. And you're like, nope, I got more. Nope, I
Yeah,
got more. Like
but the
Hootie and the fucking Blowfish.
that's right. But the thing is, it's like I thought like going into doing secular talk, I
Mhm.
had a very like childish and naive view of what like fame is and what a celebrity is. Like it was just a profoundly unthoughtful view. Like I thought you're either famous or you're not famous. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's just this list. You're famous or you're not. But then you realize like wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. There are people who are like niche or niche famous. You know,
Yeah,
like take Phil Ivey for example. Most
yeah.
people have no fucking clue who Phil Ivey is, but if you know anything about poker, you know who Phil Ivey is. You
He's like a
know,
god.
there's like professional, video game players that are famous in their circles. But nobody else knows who the fuck they are. There are people like if you're into the world of YouTube makeup, like they have gigantic makeup channels, way bigger than the politics channels. Like those
Yeah.
people are famous for what they do. And then there's like sitcom actors, movie actors. There's fucking singers, obviously, and it's like everything. So what I learned is there's like not only is it not just you're either famous or you're not. There's not even just like three categories like A-list celebrity, B-list celebrity, C-list or D-list. Not four, nothing like that. There's literally like 100 layers of fame. You know what I'm saying? Like there's it just it's
Well, there's like
never ending.
hometown fame, and then there's like, like I know a basketball player who was like he was good in college and then like he was from a small town in upstate New York, played at like a D1 school,
Mm-hmm.
and now back in his town and like in that upstate area, New Yorkish, he's like a god. So
Right.
people will see him out in the mall or something, and it's like, oh my God, there he is. But like that's local, like hometown fame. Whereas like
Yeah.
your show, you get viewed by people like nationwide who see,
Yeah.
or
So
worldwide.
so if you put me at any kind of like media progressive conference, like a Daily Coast conference or something like that, everybody's gonna know
Mhm.
me there. Or if you put me like
Yeah.
when I did the show with Jank at YouTube Space New York, people there know me. But like if you take me, and I was thinking about this, if you take me and bring me to Wingfoot, the exclusive golf course that my friend's dad is a member of, and I've played there many times, I could go there today. None of them know who the fuck I am. Zero of them.
Mhm.
They just be like, "That's a guy." Like I don't know who the fuck. I
They're
don't
all
give a fuck.
fucking like conservative fucks
Yeah, they're
probably
old.
too,
They're
right?
like old, white, rich Republicans. So I'm like totally
Yeah.
incognito because they've never in their life even considered clicking on some sort of liberal commentary YouTube video. Never crossed their mind. It
Hmm.
never came up in their recommended box, and none of that stuff. But to people
Yep.
listening right now, that's a totally different context. 'Cause obviously, everybody listening to our show right now knows us, so they're thinking like, well, Kyle makes up half my fucking recommended videos, so it's weird that it doesn't for other people. No, for a lot of other people, it just doesn't even it. The same likelihood of me coming up on their YouTube recommended is a makeup tutorial coming up in mine. Like it never happened. It never will happen because I don't click on those videos. You know what I mean? So there's all different types
Yeah.
of
Well, that's
weird.
like the point guard for the Knicks, like Jose Calderon. Like he can go out in New York and just like put a hat on and just be whoever, but like he goes back to Spain and like he was on the national team and he's
That's
the
right.
fucking man. Like he can't go anywhere probably, and that's
You
the same with like David Villa and
you remember there was that great show about the Dream Team, and apparently everybody knew Jordan, everybody knew Barkley,
yeah, yeah,
everybody knew the biggest names. John Stockton could just walk around, and people had
yeah.
no fucking clue who John Stockton was.
They had that in the documentary. He
That's
was
right.
like
Yeah,
just pretending like take photos and shit, and nobody knew who the fuck he was.
that's right. There's this
But yo,
golfer. Yeah, go ahead.
back to your point quick about the boy band shit.
Uh huh.
Backstreet Boys and NSYNC killed it so much in the 90s that like guys our age weren't afraid to like take their sister's CDs or some shit and sort of boast about like, yo, like they're killing it. Whereas now, like guys in high school and middle school like won't even admit that they're like a One Direction fan or some shit just because of like they can't have that like with them. Their boys can't let them have that. But it was people respected the grind so much of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys back in the day that you were like, yo, like someone would be like, yo, Kyle's listening to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and then someone else would be like a hood ass dude would just be like, yeah, and like they're killing it. Like that song is dope. I listen to
Exactly.
that shit also.
And you talk to people in our age group now, like who are our age and they grew up in that time frame. Now everybody back then it was 50-50. Some people wouldn't admit it, right? Or some people would be that asshole
Yeah,
who's like he's listening to them. Today everybody's like, come on, man. You know you liked it. Even the Britney Spears shit when her first shit dropped, "Hit Me Baby One More Time." Everybody
exactly.
was like, okay, come on, that shit is hot. Mandy Moore, "I'm Missing You Like Candy." Everybody's like, oh, when
Even
that.
Ashley Simpson came up with a couple bangers.
That's right, and it was just one of those things where, and again, it's totally generational. It's because we were raised in that context. But what's sad to see
Yeah.
now, though, is like I said, if you look at, like, dude, what happened to the Backstreet Boys is like a Greek tragedy, man. Like, because
Oh, it's
one of the
sad.
main singers, Brian Luttrell, like lost his voice. He got sick with something. He kind of lost his voice. Then that leaves all the heavy lifting to the other main dude, Nick Carter. But Nick kind of lost his voice a little bit too as he got older. Like he could still sing, but he's not like he was. He's not like the 16-year-old kid who was just cute that all the
Yeah.
girls like. You know what I'm saying? So now it's
Well,
just
we
like,
spoke about this shit in the last one. Is just like they all hit puberty at some point. They're not those little guys anymore, like a Justin Bieber. Then they
yeah,
try to.
it's rough because that's when like they were peaking when they really were in the most awkward time of their lives. Like they were peaking, like I think at like 15 or 16, Nick was already singing in the Backstreet Boys. Like your voice is gonna change big time. That's why same thing. Everybody who likes Justin Bieber, like,
Oh hell yeah.
ooh, that shit. His voice is gonna change, man. I mean, it's already changed. And don't get me wrong, he could obviously still sing right now, but
Yeah.
time's a motherfucker, man. That's why you got to give Justin Timberlake props to no end because not only did he stick around, not only did he stay relevant, he's still like on top of his shit, you know?
Yeah, he killed it, and he figured out a way to turn that shit into movies. Like he's a talented dude. Like
That's right.
I get,
Yeah.
whereas Justin Bieber, like when there's different paths where you could see if someone is a smart dude or not. Like Bieber, yeah, he's talented. Was talented before he got fucking dumb, but like then he just took the path towards rap, and you're just like, all right, you just sold out to rap. Like we get it. You can't sing anymore. Don't go to rap. Whereas Timberlake was like, all right, if I'm losing my voice, which he didn't. He was like, I'm still gonna do movies. I'm gonna do other shit. Like,
Not only
so you
that,
respect people's.
he kept his formula the same too. Like he was speaking about that, about how like Timbaland's his guy. He
Mhm.
works with Timbaland on everything, and it's the same formula. Whenever they want to make an album, they go about it the same way. It's the same process. There's none of this like, let me try some absurd outside of the box shit that's really a fucking risk. Like when Snoop Dogg randomly decided he was going to do reggae and like three
Oh
people listened and everybody else was like, motherfucker, you're Snoop Doggy Dogg. What are you doing? Like
yeah.
they have a formula, they stick to the formula, they know what works, and it's a proven thing for success. Like it's guaranteed on some level that your shit is going to work out. And that's hard to in
Mhm.
Hollywood, man. Hollywood's a motherfucker. That's hard. Like even some of the best like actors of all time, they hit a certain age where they just don't get the roles anymore. They don't get the movie roles. They don't get the TV roles. That's one of the things, sadly enough, that happened to Robin Williams. Like on his way out, he took a sitcom he didn't want to do. He really didn't like it. He was like the only movies he was into were more independent movies that paid shit. Like those were the only ones
Mhm.
that caught his eye. So it's rough, man. It's a rough world. That's why the people who have stayed on top the entire time, it's like you gotta give them props because it's fucking cutthroat in terms of
Well,
you
they
know
build you up so high, and then they just wait for your crash down, and then when you crash down, they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what happened? Why did he go crazy?" And it's like, no, like you and the media fucking built this motherfucker up. That's why, like, someone like you, as you fucking continue to like grind to the top, like you stay humble with it. Whereas some of these people let that shit get to them. I'm sure, you know. That's when
Yeah,
they go
well,
psycho.
it's all about the handlers too. Like, there's a lot of people. There's gonna be some creepy fucking people who get around you if you're like, rising to success. And I'm talking specifically about
That's
like
true.
movie actors, TV actors, and singers. Like, there are people who are just trying to fucking, hop on your bandwagon and just hang on tight and just try to make money off of you making money and doing the work. So it's almost like
Saw that shit with Tyson.
oh my God, Mike Tyson, another just an amazing story, man. That guy's life is something else, dude. Coming from the bottom of the bottom in the worst kind of situation, and then somehow getting to a point where, he's working with Customato, who just turned him into a boxing god. Sweet Jesus, people don't realize how good. When Tyson he was 37-0, I think, when he lost his first fight. And it was the fight he lost to Buster Douglas. People don't realize at that time that Customato had already died. Tyson had stopped training, flat out stopped training. Tyson was doing cocaine the night before that he lost to Buster Douglas. He was up all night doing cocaine. His entire team was so fucked up at that point that they were using, instead of the cold iron presses they put on boxers' eyes when they're in the corner and stuff.
Yeah.
His team literally went to the bathroom, filled up a condom with tap water, and put that on his face as the thing. You could see the conversation they were having. His corner was probably like, "Yo, you think this will work?" Yeah, that'll work, alright. And they pressing it on his face and shit. It's what people don't get is that if Customato stayed alive, continued to give Mike Tyson guidance,
Yeah, he was like a father figure.
Exactly, and kept him focused, Mike Tyson could have been the best boxer ever. Now, obviously, it's speculation, and we'll never know because you can never relive history, yada yada. But it's clear that the wheels came off when Customato died. Up to that point, it was an amazing path of perfection. The dude was perfection.
Yeah, he was the man.
And then even after he got out of jail, people forget that he won the title again. He got out of jail, he already had lost all the structure. He already had fucked up. But he gets out of jail, and then he wins the title again. And people are like, Jesus Christ. He's one of those guys where there was a time in his career when even with just, half trying, he wins every fight. You know what I'm saying? When the Buster Douglas fight came around, he just wasn't trying at all. That's why he lost.
That could have been fixed, too, right? And that he threw it, probably made some money off of that.
I don't know, because I think his pride was to the point where, when you're 37-0, when you got that O next to your record.
Yeah, that's true.
With Mayweather, is there any amount of money in the world that's going to make Mayweather drop that O, which makes him a legendary fighter? I mean, he loves money. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no, but you're right.
Yeah. So LeBron's dick. Let's talk about that.
Oh, man.
So he flashed his dick, man. At first I felt bad for him, but then I was like, dude, he doesn't care. Does he care?
Oh,
He
he doesn't care. But there's just so much coverage around him. There's so many camera angles and so much fucking coverage everywhere that it's just I'm surprised shit like this doesn't happen more often. Where you just see a slippage, not of dick necessarily, but just something or other. You always catch them picking up curse words and stuff, but there's so much technology now where there's cameras everywhere. I'm surprised even in a locker room speech that they go to the coach and he's like, "Hey, you guys need to be doing this better," and there's just not a naked, just fucking phone out dude changing in the background or something.
Yeah, I looked it up immediately. I was telling you before. I didn't know about it, or I was watching the game live. I didn't catch it or whatever. And
I didn't see it either.
Bill Maher mentioned it. I go online. I'm like, let me see. I went to Perez Hilton. Of course, slowed it down and it zoomed in and shit. And it was the only site that had an actual view of it. Every other site somehow you couldn't even really see it. But with, Perez Hilton, you're like, oh yeah, he knows what he's doing. There were 12 other articles watch the 10 athletes with the biggest dicks, and you see Will's wife clicked on the other ones too. I told you, showed me the Serge Ibaka picture. You don't actually see his dick, but it's in his sweatpants, and he's taking a picture with a fan. I'm sorry, but I have concluded, regardless of what anybody fucking says, he was semi-hard in that picture. There's one with Melo, same thing.
Really?
I think there's one with JR also, same thing.
Oh, well, I was saying back in the day, they used to say Patrick Ewing used to tape his shit to his leg because they used to wear the short shorts.
Yeah, do you believe that,
so he didn't want his
though?
shit to slide out the bottom.
Do you believe that, though? I don't think I believe that.
I don't know if I believe it, but I don't know. I mean, he was a big dude.
Yeah. No, I don't think I believe that. But my conspiracy is that at least with the pictures that Perez loves, and the dicks he wants to suck, I think they're semi-hard. They're not, because with Serge Ibaka, if his shit wasn't semi-hard, he has a world record dick. His shit.
Oh yeah, his shit is probably crazy.
Down to his knee through sweatpants. And I guarantee, the thing is, you don't post that picture unless you see that. You know what I'm saying? You don't post that unless you see that. No. If you had just gotten out of a cold ass pool, and you took a picture and your shit was in the other direction, you're not like, okay, I'm gonna post this one. No, like you saw your shit and you're like, I'm gonna post it because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my conspiracy is
Yep.
semi-hard.
Yep.
And by the way, with LeBron, people were getting on him and they were saying his shit is ashy. And I think that shit
Yeah.
is, I think
Yeah.
it's unfair though because I'm pretty sure that shit is powder. It's got to be powder.
Oh yeah, 100%. I used to
Yes,
play sports. You'd get sweaty as fuck. You'd just be like, I'm gonna just powder up my dick a
yeah,
little bit, so
gold
like
bond
my
the
shit's
shit
not
out of your
sticky.
shit. Exactly. I've been putting gold bond on my shit since the fetus, son. I don't know why. Like people acting like, oh, shit is ashy. It's not ashy, man. But I
But they
love.
cover everything about LeBron. There was in Golden State. There's a video of him walking off the court. I don't know if you saw this.
Hmm.
And there was some girl like standing right at the baseline. So he's walking off, and usually players just ignore whatever anybody says.
Right.
So you hear this voice come out the side, and it's just like, LeBron, how's it feel to be a pussy ass bitch? And like he like loud and clear. So he just stops like right midway in the walkway and like turns his head like this to the lady. And you hear the security guard. He's like, "Watch your mouth, woman. Watch your mouth, woman." So LeBron keeps walking. Then they show the security guard talking to the lady. He's like, "If I see your face here back this time," he's going off on this whole thing. And then they turn to the lady. Her fucking response was priceless. She was just like, "I can't hear you. I'm sorry."
Oh my god, man. They got to deal with some shit. Like Tiger Woods, they follow him like they honestly have said before during right before he teed off at the Masters this year. They were talking about how, "Ooh, he went to the bathroom twice before he went to the tee." Like they literally like the camera would follow him as he goes into the porta potty. It's like that's too much,
Mhm.
dude. That's too much. Like you
But they're
fall
hearing
back a
shit all the
little bit.
time. Like, there's got to be something like if you make it, you know,
Mhm.
and which you are, but like if you're walking somewhere, there's got to be something that'll trigger you. You know, like we're all human beings. They hear so much shit that it's just like at some point you're gonna have to turn to someone and just be like, "Yo, fuck you! Like, don't say that shit to me." You got to be a man on your shit. You know?
Yeah, nah, it's not only that, man. Look, and I'm different because what I do is so such a lower level of notoriety and stuff, but like there's different ways to respond to it. Early on, I felt like I responded to every tweet and I would like argue with people. And if they say something stupid, I'd be like, "Okay, no, this is wrong. I'm going to explain why it's wrong and here's exactly where I'm coming from. Let me give you all the details of my position." But then you realize after a while there are plenty of people out there who like it would be like me taking time to debate Bill O'Reilly or Sean Hannity if they said some shit to me. Like they're so fucking far gone that it's not about trying to understand your position or see what's happening here. They have a dogmatic stance. They're not interested in what your position is. They think you're evil to begin with. So everything they say and do to you is just a self-fulfilling prophecy where they're trying to let you know that I think you're evil and I don't like you. So there's no
Hmm.
amount of explaining that's going to get somebody like that to go like, "Oh, you know what? You changed my mind, man. I'm on your team now." So when you hit that point, it's just a matter of, I hate to sound so fucking stereotypical, but haters going to hate. You just got to go
Yeah.
whatever. Like and look, I want to be clear about that because there is a difference between, it's so obvious to see when somebody has a genuine like disagreement with you and they want to see where you're coming from and they don't quite understand what you're saying or don't quite agree with your position, but they kind of agree. They have a slightly different take on it. Like, and with somebody like that, I love talking to those people. Like I often say about libertarians who I agree with on like 40 or 50% of shit. I love those guys. I might vehemently disagree with them on 40 or on 60 or 50% of this shit, but I know they're genuine. I know they have an ideological position they're coming from. I know they've thought the shit through, so I like having discussions with them. I like having debates with them. But, there's a difference between that and somebody who upfront has no interest in really having a discussion with you and understanding differences. Like some idiot approached me recently and was like, I want to debate you. Like, come on my show and I will debate you. Like, okay, first of all, if you really, number one, I'm a human. So, hey, how you doing? My name is so and so. I have this proposal I'd like to lay out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know you. Like, the guy came up to me like he's you or somebody else that knows me, and he could just say some shit. And it wasn't even like, "Hey, man, let's have a discussion about X, Y, and Z." From the jump, I want to debate you. So I disagree with you. I have no interest in ever rethinking it, changing my mind in any way, shape, or form. And I want to
Yeah.
have like a fight style you versus me shit. I don't fuck around with that shit. Are you kidding me? That's like a creationist coming out. I want to debate you on evolution. Bitch,
Yeah,
what is that? What is that? First of all, that's not even a debatable thing anymore. Second of all, any normal human being who actually cares about intellectual pursuits is going to say discussion. Let's have a discussion about X, Y, or Z. So I
yeah,
find it hilarious when it's almost like everybody demands they be taken seriously and demand that you treat them with respect, but they don't hold themselves to any kind of standard. Like they don't think for a second, what if I was this person and somebody approached me like that? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I get it
yeah.
all day long. Again, I love it when I have smart, intelligent disagreements with people. I have them all the time on Twitter and elsewhere. But a lot of the times it's just somebody's made up their mind about you. You know, they fucking dislike you with a burning passion, and it's just they're not interested in trying to see where you're coming from or come to some sort of a compromise or conclusion. It's just I'm gonna fucking throw mud all day long.
Yep. Whatever you say, they're gonna have like stuck in their mind what they want to think.
Definitely. All right, so real quick, I don't know how whatever you want to talk about, man, just throw it out there. But I got a bunch of stuff here that I wanted to talk about. Um, we never spoke about the Denzel movie Flight on air before?
No.
Okay, I got to talk about that. And by the way, before I continue here, spoiler fucking alert, I'm going to ruin this movie for you. So if you haven't
Well,
seen it
that
and
shit
you
came out in '88, so yeah, they should have
yeah,
seen it by now.
that's the true, but I'm just saying for anybody who might want to see it, I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm gonna spoil it. So first of all, it's a movie that I love and I hate at the same time, and that's why it pisses me off. Okay, I absolutely love the movie, but I hate the movie. And let me just give everybody the breakdown here. So there's a guy who's a super bad alcoholic and cocaine addict, drinks all the fucking time, does cocaine. Badass character though, and he's
And the
fucking
girl is super hot in the beginning. Ooh.
fucking one of his flight attendants. They are up all night drinking, fucking doing coke. They end up going on the plane in the morning for a morning flight. They're flying. He starts pounding vodkas on the plane in the morning because he's really an alcoholic where he drinks all the time. Mechanical failure on the plane. The plane goes down. Fucking nosedives. This guy's also, although he's an alcoholic and a cocaine addict, he's an experienced pilot, knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. He's the only person who's able to really save the people. And they, later on in the movie, they talk about how we tried this test with other pilots. None of them succeeded. You're the only one who was able to nail it. And it's an awesome scene, by the way, when he's like, we're going to roll the plane.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? He's like, we got to find a way to stop the nosedive. The only way we could do that. And by the way, I'm sure, experts are out there, like, that's physically impossible. It doesn't work like that, whatever.
It's so Hollywood.
Right, but the willing suspension of belief or whatever the fuck it's called. That's what was going on here. And so they rolled the plane. He finds a way to, like, take it down softly. Only 6 people die. Everybody else is saved. But then afterwards, there's a big investigation, and the government's like, we got to figure out what happened here. We got to blame somebody. So what do they try to do? They try to blame him. They took vials of their blood, found, he was on cocaine and he was on alcohol. So the idea is that society is trying to say to him, you're the reason why the plane crashed. But he knows, like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, yeah, I'm a cokehead, but I actually saved everybody, and that was irrelevant to the fact that I saved them. I was able to save them despite the fact I was high. So the movie escalates, it goes on, he falls deeper into the drinking because the world's against him, yada yada. And so at the end of the movie, his lawyer finds a way to get him out of jail time. All he has to do is go sit in front of a congressional panel and answer questions. All he has to do is say, like, no, I wasn't high, this and that. He ends up breaking down. Okay, he cracks. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I'm a.
Well, could have got away with it though, right? Like,
if he lied, he would have gotten away with it. Okay.
yeah.
But like he breaks down and he says all that stuff, and then the final scene of the movie, they cut to him in jail, like a reformed guy talking about how he got off the drugs, telling his story, and it's like an uplifting story. Then you see him with his son, who he had lost contact with when he was a drunk or whatever, and everybody's supposed to go, yay, oh yay, he got off the alcohol, and look at the good situation he's in now, he's in jail, it's great. And like, the thing that pissed me off about it is, the movie makes utterly clear that he was able to save those people despite being drunk and high. He was the hero in the situation. Yes, he has personal demons. Yes, we all acknowledge that. But he saved them. Okay? He saved them. And, like, he's on the side of reality the entire time he's an alcoholic and a cokehead, where he's like, yeah, I saved everybody. But, like, at the end of the movie, he flips, where he's like, yeah, no, I was high on cocaine, I was drunk. And it's almost like he's admitting guilt when he's not guilty of crashing the plane. It's almost like he's admitting, like, I crashed the plane, but he didn't crash the plane. It was a mechanical failure. So I would have loved the movie if all you had to do was change 2 things. Number 1, add him saying a line like, it wasn't because of my drinking and my cocaine use that the plane went down. I did save everybody despite being drunk and high. So add that when he's breaking down in the congressional hearing. And then instead of having him in jail for the last scene, put him in a fucking medical rehab center. You know? Because the dude saved everybody and then he went to jail. That's not justice. I don't give a fuck if he was high and drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he still shouldn't be flying the plane if he's fucking high and drunk.
100%, but that's why you put him in like, okay, so now he's getting reformed, now he's going to a medical rehab center, but it's almost like you spare him jail because he was such a good pilot and he saved everybody, you know? Like the fact that, like, as if it's not punishment enough that the fucking plane crashed because of a mechanical failure and you went through the trauma of it, right? And you still saved everybody, but then, bless you, but then society's like, no, fuck you, go to jail. Bless you. And they keep, and it's like everybody blames him. You know, it's like at the end of it, there's this casual
He gets no
acceptance.
credit for saving all the lives when he was getting over. It's
So-
like, oh, we didn't know you were drunk and high. Yay! Oh, we knew you were drunk and high, but it was still wasn't your fault. You're a bad man.
Exactly.
You're a bad man.
Exactly.
Like,
it's almost like
make up your mind.
his character early on in the movie was closer to correct about the situation with the flight. Because his idea was, yeah, I know I have problems, but I saved them. And that was true. But at the end of the movie, it's like he flips on that. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm guilty. But you're not guilty. You have a medical issue that should be treated in a medical way. But at the end of it, they show you in fucking jail. What the fuck is that about? Yeah, no, that pissed me off, man. But the reason why I loved the movie, obviously, Denzel was in it. And he put on an amazing performance. And the character's a fucking badass. And the scene with the plane where they had to roll over the plane was tremendous. But it got good ratings, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. And it annoyed me a little bit because like the critics were, it's so obvious what's going on in the mind of the critics who really liked it. It's so obvious that like they were emotionally invested in this like storybook ending that a puritanical society would want. Like, oh, yes, you still must punish him even though he did nothing wrong because he was drunk and high. Send him to jail. And it's like everybody's like, oh, yay, that's what we're used to. Yes, he went to AA, which doesn't work, but we're going to pretend it works. Yes, 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 yes. It's like, oh, God, just fucking be adults, man. All they had to do was add that one line. It wasn't my fault. I was still able to save everybody despite being drunk and high. But I do need help. Say something like that and then show him in rehab. But instead, it's, you know, oh, I'm not so guilty. Then he's in jail. It pissed me off, and I can't believe that more people didn't see through that bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I also got... So Denzel was on my mind this week for the Flight movie.
He's on my mind because when he was at the fight, remember how like just weird he looked? He didn't look Denzel-esque. He had like a weird mustache or something. Like he must have been in like filming for a role.
Yeah.
And he got memed out so hard, like people just snapping on him looking like a grandfather.
Dude, actors in general are like kind of weird. Because when you're so good at putting on the persona of somebody who's not you, like there's something going on there, you know? Like I can't act at all. I'd suck ball sacks at acting. I would. I'd be so terrible. Because, like, the idea is you have to tap into the mindset of, you know, a Bangladeshi factory worker who's never seen their mother. It's like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? I can't do that. But people who are able to just tap into some shit like that, it's almost like internally they have to be a blank slate, you know? Like, it's almost like they lack their own identity, so it's easy for them to just latch on to other identities. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of a
Yeah, no,
harsh...
true. That's a good point.
That's a harsh way of talking about it, but, you know, you see it with a lot of actors where they're just kind of creepy off screen. But I love Denzel no matter fucking what. That's obvious.
Yeah, he's the man.
So last night I was thinking about this when I was watching TV. Let's rank the late night hosts. So I know you're a Jimmy Fallon guy, right?
I am, yeah.
I
like Fallon.
Which puts you squarely in the camp of virtually all people in our age group. Like everybody in our age group, yeah, like is like, oh my God, Jimmy Fallon's so funny, and the girls are like, oh, and he's so cute too. I'm not a Jimmy Fallon guy. Now I have softened on him since the last time we talked. Like before, I was like legit anti him. Like, I was angry at him. I'm like, how the fuck did this guy get a show, basically? That was my position. Because he's got, like, the happy-go-lucky boy next door shit going on, or it's like, oh, everybody like me. And I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
off, bro. I don't like that shit. But I softened on him a little bit because his show actually is pretty fucking good in terms of what they do with the celebrities. Like, the fucking,
They have good skits,
yeah,
man.
games
Like,
they play with them and
good
shit.
game.
And he actually is a little bit more bold than I gave him credit for, in the sense that he's willing to make himself look like a total douchebag, which is great. Like, he'll,
And he's talented too, like is a thing too.
yeah,
Like he
he's
does
funnier than I
set,
gave him
he
credit for.
sings, he can play the guitar and does a lot of shit that I'm like, wow, he's actually pretty talented too. He's not just the fucking. I think
Yeah,
that's how he actually is too. Is that happy-go-lucky? Like if you saw him in the streets, he'd actually be that way.
like, Jack Black, how,
Yeah.
yeah, like they did like a remake of the music video More Than Words, and it was
Oh,
just
I didn't.
it was good. Like, they just copied the
Mhm.
video, but they sang it, and like it was supposed to be like, satire, but like it's funny, but it's funny in a weird way, and like if you don't get it, fuck you if you don't get it. It's one of those kinds of things, and I liked it. I liked it for that reason. It was bold. Like, who would think to do that? I'm just gonna remake a music video, us singing it, when they don't have the greatest voice in the world. I mean, they're good, but it's not, they're not fucking expert level singers. But like, it was risky, and I liked it. So Kimmel, no, I'm sorry, not Kimmel, Fallon. He's not at the bottom of my list. Let's start from the bottom. Bottom, I'm going all day long. He's gone now, but Jay Leno. Can we agree on that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a Leno fan at all. He wasn't funny.
Yeah, here's why I hate Jay Leno. No risks. There's no risks. It's not actual, like, intelligent comedy. I'm gonna get you to think. I'm gonna make you feel something that makes you uncomfortable or makes you laugh in a new way. It's all just like cut and dried. It's almost like he's a knock knock joke guy. I mean, obviously he doesn't tell knock knock jokes, but like it's just so. Okay, dude, I see what you're doing. You're applying. He's trying to appeal to like middle-aged housewives in California and New York, while at the same time appealing to, senior citizen men in Arkansas. Like, he's trying to have
It's
that
awful.
broad. He's trying to please everybody, and it's like, you can't do that, man. You just can't do that. And
But his thing was like he knows he's the man of the show and he's just like fucking pompous and I was just like, you're not funny, you're a dick, and like your show sucks. So like be humble. Be more humble on your show.
yeah, and he's also I think that he thinks he's smarter than he is. Like, I know everyone, like, back in the day, he would go on Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, and like he would try to like argue with Bill Maher and shut him down, and it's like, but dude, you stop. Like, that's not what you do, okay? Like, that's what Bill Maher does. He's like a professional arguer on that show and on Real Time, and you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna get him, and I'm a little more conservative. Shut the fuck up. And also, I get
Yeah.
the sense that he votes Republican. Not gonna lie, like, and he's
Probably.
kind of hinted at that a few times. Like, he's not a crazy person because he's pro gay marriage and shit like that, but it's just that that like disconnected view from politics and just playing the standard role of the old white man that votes Republican. It's like, stop. Like, you're not thoughtful, but you think you're thoughtful, and that pisses me off. He's at the bottom of my list. Remember Craig Ferguson?
Yeah.
He just recently went off. I liked him, but I liked him because he was so fucking strange.
He was real strange, but he never got any big fucking actors or actresses on his show. I'd always look at the info.
Yeah.
It would just be nobodies. So like the third person from The Office who you were like,
That's right. He also attempted suicide when he was younger. Like, he had demons.
really?
Man. Yeah, like he was a drug addict. He had demons. And I think that vulnerability made him like good in front of crowds. Like, he was able like to be
But
that
his whole shit
monkey
was
doing
off
the
cuff,
dance.
right?
Yeah,
Like he had no cue cards. He would always rip them up and like just fucking interview off the dome, right?
that's right. He's very much like SecularTalk in the sense that he's cut from the same mold where he's better off the cuff. If you put me
Yeah.
on, I've rejected scripts before. Like, people want me to do ads. Like, hey, here's a script. No, I don't do scripts. Like, fuck scripts. I don't like them. They're not genuine. He's kind of the same way. I think he does the same thing where he has a premise and he has some bullet points and he just goes. So I respect him for
Yeah.
that. He's not at the bottom of my list. He's somewhere in the middle of my list. Letterman gets like middle-ish out of respect because
Yeah.
he's just David Letterman. Yes,
But he's never changed.
he's never changed. He the whole thing with the cheating on his wife, that's something that like conservatives would look at and be like, "Oh, you're a bad person." I actually think he's a really good person. Like, he strikes me as he's a good person, he's a smart person, he is a funny guy, and his personality was so tailor fit to what he did, because it's almost like at the end of the day, when you want to see a late night show, you want to just relax. If you turn on a guy like David Letterman, you just feel relaxed. You're like, okay, like I'll let Dave take me on this ride where he does some jokes here and there, and he does a funny interview with people. I also love that he stood up to Bill O'Reilly,
Oh,
and
did he?
yeah, him and Bill O'Reilly had like a few epic interviews where Letterman at one point is like, I'm pretty sure that 90% of what you say is bullshit. He said something along those lines. He's just a good guy, and he's more liberal, so I'm more I'm biased in that way in favor of him. But then again, that's not everything, because Kevin James actually is a Republican, and I love Kevin James, so it's not.
Really?
Yeah, I know, it's sad, right? It's upsetting, but he's
We
great
went to
either
the
way.
same college. It's just like from Long Island. Like seems just like a hardworking dude. Like
Adam
he's a
Sandler too.
Republican.
Adam Sandler's donated to George W. Bush.
Oh,
I know, man, that one's
I don't want
upsetting.
to hear that.
We lost
Oh,
Sandler.
oh.
um. So, but who else we got? The new guy.
I don't really like. A lot of people like Kimmel. I don't think his some of the skits he does are funny, where he just he'll make up like musicians and like ask people about them at like he'll go to like some rock concert and be like, hey, did you hear about
Yeah,
Blue
live
Star
witness news.
song?
Yeah, live
Yeah,
witness news.
like some of his skits are funny, but like he'll have other shit where like see he's weird because I don't he's like he's dry and sort of like super dry where you don't know if it's a joke.
Yeah.
I don't really fuck with him that much.
See, I go in the opposite direction. He's my number one.
Really?
He's my number one for all the reasons you hate him. Actually, like his kind of humor is kind of tailor fit to a guy like me, where it's a wink and a nod. It's like you're either in on this joke or you're not in on this joke, and if you're in on this joke, I see you, I got you. And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, a lot of people dislike. I'm sure, like my mom would hate a guy like Kimmel. A lot of people hate a guy like Kimmel, but I like him because he doesn't give a fuck. Like he has a show and he doesn't give a fuck. And he still does good work while not giving a fuck.
But he sort of does, like how he apologized to Kanye. Like if you didn't give a fuck, just
I
go on and
covered that. I covered
keep
that
bashing
story.
Kanye. Like, don't bring him on your show and like that was a great interview or whatever. But like he sort of bitched out and apologized to him because like he was like, yeah, you took a photo with my dad and like I'm sorry, dude. But like
I gotta
no,
be honest.
double down and fucking get on him more because
Yeah,
you got
yeah, yeah.
Kanye's attention.
I covered that story and I don't remember what I said and I don't remember the details of the story. I just know that his interview with Kanye, I just remember Kanye being a ridiculous human being because he's a ridiculous human being. And I think I mocked Kanye mercilessly when I covered that story.
Yeah, he was upset because he made fun of him, but then like Kimmel apologized like a little bitch. He was like, "Yeah, I remember you took a photo with my dad at the wedding. You
I
were
wonder
super
if I
nice."
said that. Did I say that? Do you remember that segment I did? Did I say that in the segment?
I don't remember.
I
Well,
want to go back and watch it because that doesn't fit Kimmel's personality. If he really did apologize, that really is a
he was
bitch move.
apologizing, dude.
Yeah, but was
Yeah.
it like yeah, I apologize, or was it like
No, no, it was some like you could tell it was some like sincere shit. Like you actually were nice to me and my family. Like I'm sorry
okay?
if I hurt
gotta go. I
you.
gotta
Like
go
he was
back and watch
apologizing
that.
to like a little 8-year-old kid.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch that segment.
And that
That's
shit, I
upsetting.
was like, nah, man, you were the one person, like everybody makes fun of Kanye, but like you were the one person that got his attention with the shit, and now you're gonna call him on the show and really like let him air out his shit and apologize to
Why
him.
would you feed into his monstrous ego? Like
That's what I'm saying.
if anybody needs to take themselves less seriously, it's Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one thing to have that like I know who the fuck I am personality because of some shit that you could prove, but like Kanye, you're a great rapper, great artist, yada yada. But there is no like real empirical way to judge music or movies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if Michael
Yeah.
Jordan or Tiger Woods wanted to be like, I know who the fuck I am. LeBron James, if he wanted to say it, okay, we got you.
Mm-hmm.
But for music or movies, it's like,
And he's got this whole like demeanor. Like they showed him at it was first at the Bulls game. He's sitting courtside with Scottie Pippen, and there's a camera on him, and he's like
yeah,
laughing,
yeah, yeah,
smiling,
yeah, yeah, and then he puts the
and,
face
like,
on.
and then he's just like,
But is he trolling about that? I think he might just be fucking around with that shit. Because
think so?
so the theory is like what you were saying is it's true that he doesn't like to smile, and I think he's like spoken about that too. Like I don't like to smile or some shit. He said something
Mm-hmm.
about it, like there's a reason for it or whatever. But like when he does
He
it in
might-
such an obvious way, when the camera's on him and then he turns it to a frown, it's almost like, okay, so you're just fucking with us, right? Like you're trolling
Yeah.
us. You're playing into the fact that your character is like a silly person, Because if that's not
You
the
might be
case,
right.
if that's not the case, good googly moogly, that man needs a ego
No, I
check
think
and a
you're right.
half, son. He really
Because
does.
even after the Cavs Golden State game, they had like the press conference set up, and he like got on stage with his boy and was like joking around, laughing. So like, I think you're right. I think it's just like that whole shit for the
Yeah.
camera. Like, you can't switch that fast.
Yeah,
You
but the
know,
thing I like it, like the thing I always, whenever I think of Kanye, I think of Jay Z, and I think about how Jay Z has the same kind of aura that Kanye has. It's like, oh my god, a big name in the industry and whatnot. But Jay Z's not as big of a dick about it, you know?
not that we know, but it's also like I take it to like the Derek Jeter A-Rod thing. It's like whatever the media covers more. So it's like I'm sure there were stories of Derek Jeter out at like bars doing weird shit with girls. It's just the media never covered it as much because they liked Derek Jeter more than they liked Alex Rodriguez.
That's a
You see
really
what I'm
good
saying?
point. So like you're saying the fact that a lot of people in the media don't like Kanye, it's like they're more likely to harp away on his bullshit and put cameras on him more to expose his bullshit. Whereas a guy like
Yep.
Jay Z is smooth enough to like get on their good
Likeable
side.
guy. They know people like him,
Right. That's an interesting point, man.
you know? Because they showed Jay-Z and Beyonce at the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, and Jay-Z was on camera like for a second.
I remember that.
And
He was like,
he's
"Get
like,
out of the way."
yeah,
Yeah.
like cut it, you know? Like,
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. Even though, like, somebody I was with when we saw that, they were like, "Yeah, I'd feel the same way. Like, I paid $1 trillion for these tickets, and you're blocking me." But like, if you're
hmm
Jay Z or Beyonce, it's almost like you know that, like, you got to know the scrutiny you're under. So it's almost like you have to go above and beyond to not be douchey in any way. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like, instead of just waving them off in like a nonchalant way, just be like, "Hey, man, if you don't mind, just like, could you
Yeah,
step to
you
the
know you're
side a
gonna
little
get
bit?"
on TV, go to the cameraman maybe beforehand, just be like, "Hey, put us on. We'll wave, whatever," but then cut the shit. You know, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with someone I respect, which I'm gonna ask you if you're gonna see this movie, Mark Wahlberg. He's
No.
just so gangster about his shit, man.
I disagree. I can't stand that guy,
Really?
man. I can't stand that guy, dude.
Because
Because you know what it is. Every movie he's ever been in ever is like. First of all, he's like Tom Cruise in the sense of like I'm not going to be in a movie unless it's all about me in every way, shape, and form. And then in the movie, it's like it's always like, oh, I'm so misunderstood, but I'm like a good guy, but like I did some fucked up shit in the past, but I'm so misunderstood. And then like throughout the course of the movie, it's like, oh, look who rose to the top and became a hero again. It's all so fucking predictable. I can't
I
stand
mean,
it.
he built that up like in his career where he could pick and choose those type of roles. You know, I'm sure
I'm
he's got
not
old
no no
movies where he was like,
I'm not hating and saying that he shouldn't take those roles and make a metric fuck ton of money. By all means, dude, go ahead. But I'm certainly not gonna like it. Like there was one movie I watched recently. I don't remember what the name is, but like what I just described is exactly what the fuck it was. It had something to do with drug dealing and this and that, and
well, he had
oh
the fighter or some shit with Christian Bale, which was that shit was dope.
mm,
Did you see that one or no?
no,
Oh God, you got to see that. That was a good one. It's like a true story about some boxer and like the brother was really good and then the younger brother got really good and the
mm-hmm,
other brother was on drugs or some shit.
right,
Wahlberg just kills it, dude. But like to my point was that before the Mayweather Pacquiao fight came out, there was like a water company that was like, we'll pay someone like whatever $10,000 and buy their ticket front row if they just wear our like shit and like hold up the bottle during the fight. And I was like, oh, that shit would sort of be weird if a celebrity took that offer and like was that like role model for that shit.
and
I was
Wahlberg
like,
did.
Wahlberg did during the fight. They showed him and he's
That
like
makes
wearing
you
the
like
shirt.
him more. That makes
Yeah,
me
because he's
hate
just
him
like
more.
whatever, like
That's not
fuck
whatever.
it.
That's I want the fucking money. That's what that is.
No, he got like this free ticket, like, because those tickets were mad expensive front row. So he was just like, fuck it. I'll wear your shit and promote your shit if I get a front row ticket. Like,
Nah, that makes me
he's
hate
just
him.
like well, I don't give a fuck, whatever,
Nah,
dude.
that's a corporate whore, man. I hate people like that, man. Cause that's him saying like, what's my price? Well, what are you willing to pay me? Okay, that's my price. Just pay me. That's the kind of that's the kind of mindset. I'm gonna go over the top now. That's the kind of mindset that you see with politicians who are like, okay, corporations, give me money. I'll do whatever the fuck you want. Just give me money. Give me money. Give me money.
So you were good at poker. So if you're at the World Series of Poker and you're just wearing your Nike hoodie right now and
Yeah,
Nike
yeah, yeah.
hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make the final table. And you know how when it gets down to the final table, it gets on ESPN and all the
Yeah.
TV's on and all that
Right, get
shit.
sponsors and
So
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so Full Tilt comes to you or some shit and they're like, hey, we'll give you, $10,000 to just put this shit
Yeah.
over your Nike logo. Are you doing it or are
Yeah.
you gonna stick to your guns?
I'm not against like advertising in every way, shape, and form. But what I'm against is people who are willing to accept any kind of money from any corporation or any kind of advertisement simply because it's money. So if there's a disconnect and you don't believe in the product or you don't know anything about the product, but you take the money anyway, I think that's immoral. But if you like the product and you believe in the product and then you get paid for doing it, then yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. You know?
So do you like Shaq? I mean, Shaq's in like every like. Do you really think Shaq drives a fucking Buick?
Yeah, no, you're right that like Icy Hot and shit, he hasn't used that shit since like 1999 for damn
So
sure. No, yeah, no, you're right, and I am a hypocrite in that sense because Shaq, I love him on the show, I love him on
yeah.
NBA on TNT, and I like his personality. But you're right, he is a corporate whore, so I hate that aspect of him for sure. He also was making fucking business deals with Chris Christie and shit. You know, like
Really?
yeah, like
Well, you posted some shit. He came out with the 9/11 articles. Like, dude,
yeah,
shut the
yeah,
like.
like
That's not.
Shaq, the structural engineer, is like, oh yeah, well take a look at this shit. It's like,
Yeah, hey, this
motherfucker,
will
you don't
look
know what you're
at
talking
mine. Like,
about.
oh,
I said
I hate
Alex
that.
Jones probably came on himself. He was like, "Oh, like what's her face? One of the Kardashians or the Jenners or whatever, Kylie Jenner or whatever. Or maybe it was the other one, Kendall. I don't know who the fuck it was. One of them was like talking about chemtrails, like the shit where it's the conspiracy where government planes fly overhead and they dump chemicals on us and they're just trying to poison us all to kill us."
Oh,
And she tweeted some shit about that or posted it on Instagram or whatever. And Alex Jones did a video where he's like, "Oh, Kylie Jenner has 7 trillion followers, and now they know about the chemtrails. Oh, what an American hero." It's like, oh, fuck, man.
like
Like,
stay in your lane.
you
Like,
know what? Just get educated is what I would say. Like, I agree with you. Like, somebody like Shumpert who wants to rap and be a basketball player. No, you need to stay in your lane, Shump. Like, stay in your fucking lane. But for other people, okay, you want to dabble in a few things, whatever, fine. But just be educated, son. Like, they're not educated. I just watched a movie on 9/11 now. I know it's an inside job. Like,
yeah.
you watched fucking an hour and 30 minutes of some shit that was edited in some dude's basement who doesn't have a degree in engineering, and now I'm convinced. I'm convinced. And don't get me wrong, man. I'm not saying all conspiracies are bullshit. Some conspiracies are absolutely true. And I'm still not even saying that there weren't some things about 9/11 that were fishy as fuck, like Building 7 falling. I don't know what the fuck happened there. But my problem is with the people who have hard conclusions either way. When they're like, I know what happened and it was this. Really, motherfucker, you know what happened? How many years of your life did you spend researching this? How many degrees do you have in science and engineering and structural stuff? How many? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Shaq, a guy who's known for bodying people and dunking in their face. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
he's like, you know, the temperature of steel that it melts is not possible for fuel to get to that temperature. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up, Shaq. Shut up.
His
Shaq.
nickname was the Man of Steel.
That's
He
right.
also had like 70,000 nicknames.
Yeah, the gargantuan human being is the one that I'm giving him. By the way, I like how I said let's rank late night hosts and we just gave up. But I would go, like I said, I'd go,
Yeah. So give your what is it? Top 5?
well, just, yeah, I don't even, like, include however many you want, the old ones and the new ones. Like,
That's
I'd
what I'm
go,
saying. Like Johnny Carson, people
no,
love
no,
that.
no, those are before our time. We can't
Yeah,
comment
that's what I'm
on
saying.
them. Yeah, we don't know
Like my
anything about
mom
them.
actually had the whole VHS set of fucking Johnny Carson. I was just like,
Jesus.
damn, you really like that dude that much? He was like, yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, no, dude, that, like, people got to understand that Carson for your mom's generation was like Letterman for us. You know, like
Yeah.
somebody who's there every night. Like, you know, you come home at night, he's on. Like, it's a
Yeah.
guarantee. It's the same as the sun
And I think he
rises.
was like the only one though. You know, like
Well,
there might have
Leno
been
and Letterman were always kind of there. You know?
with Johnny Carson too.
No, they came after Carson.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying that's why like most of the people can agree on Johnny Carson because he might have just been the only dude doing it before
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Letterman.
Yeah, I
and-
don't know who else. I think there had to be at least one other, right? Or maybe
Yeah,
not.
there
I don't
probably
know.
was.
But so I got to go bottom. I got to go Leno. He's the worst. Number 1, I got to go Kimmel. I just like his style of delivery. I got Letterman somewhere in the middle there. I got Craig Ferguson is somewhere in the middle there. Letterman's above Craig Ferguson, to be clear. Who are the other ones? There's James Corden, who's new, who I
Yeah,
thought,
not a fan.
yeah, but no, he spoke really fast at the beginning, and I was like, he's nervous. But then the same thing happened with Fallon. Really sucked at the beginning, but now he's much
But
better.
who the fuck even is this guy, James? Like
Yeah,
what the
no,
fuck-
I flipped. I
fucking-
actually kind of like him now because I saw some things that he did were somewhat witty, and
But what's he from? Like, how did that motherfucker get a late night show?
I don't know, but that makes me like him even more, man. Because it's like, yeah, you can look at it two ways. Either that shit was given to him and he did nothing to deserve it, or he did some shit that we don't know about and then he kind of earned it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
But
I don't
he
know
also
what the
had
answer
a
is.
weird like It was when I think Ferguson left. There was like a transition period where like Regis filled in a couple times,
Fucking
and like
Regis.
I'm not a Regis fan, but he
No.
actually did. There's like one fucking bug flying around. He filled in for a couple shows, and I was actually like feeling the shit. And
Nah.
he sat down with. I know you're gonna hate it. He sat down with I think it was Donald Trump. I
No
know, and
way.
Trump was just like, "Oh, if this new host is like, well, everybody loves him, like, why isn't he not just on the air? Like, why does he have this whole transition period? Like, get the
Classic Trump
motherfucker in
logic.
right now."
Classic Trump logic. I don't see him on TV right now. How could he be good? He's not on right now. Why is he not on 24 hours a day? If he's good, he would be on 24/7. When I wake up and brush my teeth, I would see him on the screen. He's not on the screen. He must suck. Nah, fuck Regis too, man. Regis, I'm sorry, but his time is over, man. He's a 1955 kind
Yeah.
of fucking guy where it's like, hello, my name is Regis Philbin. I'm gonna talk in my fake voice. You know Regis isn't talking like that when he's on his fucking couch eating cookie dough ice cream and farting. You know Regis is like,
You
whatever
can
his
tell
wife's
he's
name is.
thirsty to get back on the air, though.
Oh, of course. Dana, bring me some waffles. I'm hungry. That's Regis Philbin when he's on his couch relaxing. But when
It's
he's
just
on
like
TV,
fucking Joe Paterno. If you don't do your shit, he's just gonna die. Like it's like he lived to be a fucking host of every show. So now he's just chilling on the couch. He's gonna die soon.
look at Larry King, son. Larry King was on CNN. They had to pretend like he wanted to leave. He don't want to leave. They told him, Larry, you've been on TV for 97 years. You're off. Then he immediately went to the internet. He was working for like RT and another company. And,
Dude, they get desperate to do shit. Like that's
well,
why.
they fall into the pattern, and it's a pattern of something they love, where it's like they don't want, they even might want to think they want to give it up, like Jon Stewart right now. He definitely
Yeah.
thinks like, I'm done, I want to give this up, I've done it for too long. Guarantee you when he's out of there for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, he's gonna be like, fuck, I want my show back. Because it happens. You can't, when you do something that long, son, it becomes a part of you. Like if you try to take away my show right now from me, I'd probably become depressed. I would go into a depression. I'd be like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with myself? What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? It becomes
Yeah.
a part of you. It's who you are. I have a theory I talk about all the time. It's really simple, but I believe it to my core. You are what you do. Like that makes up who you are. Your actions define who you are. So if you're waking up every day for 8 trillion years like Larry King and you're doing a talk show, and then one day you don't have a talk show to do, what the fuck do you expect to happen? That's like being in a long-term relationship with somebody you love, and then you fall on some difficult times or whatever, or it's not as fun as it was in the beginning, and then you break up, and then what happens? Yeah, you're gonna be miserable no matter what. Even if you know the times at the end weren't as good as it was in the beginning, you're gonna miss the person, you know? It's the same thing. Let's all hit flies together.
I'm trying to be like fucking Obama right now and just catch that shit.
PETA's
But no,
gonna
that's
come after
insane.
you.
That's what fucking Joe Paterno did. He fucking coached for like 87,000 years, and then he was just like got caught up in that whole scandal. He was like, "All right, I quit as coach," and then it was just like 2 weeks later, he was dead.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's true. And studies have shown that when people feel like they have a reason to keep going, they keep going longer. You know, once you give up hope, of course it affects you. Of course your mental state affects you physically. It's not the end all be all. Obviously, a lot goes on with your physical state in and of itself can be an issue,
Yeah,
but the mental state definitely affects it for sure.
but maybe it takes your mind off of it too. Like if you're a host and just every day you're waking up, you're going to your show and you do your shit, and then all of a sudden you stop going it, your fucking body just freezes or whatever, and just is not used to not
Yeah.
doing that shit for like 60 years.
Yeah, it's not. It's. I mean, it's not like a perfect correlation where, like,
Yeah, yeah.
like the second you get off, oh my God, he has tuberculosis. No, it's. I mean, obviously, it's more nuanced than that, but there are definitely physical effects that go hand in hand when you're linked up with something mentally for so long.
Yeah.
Um, dude, I also wanted to talk about. So my buddy Brian just got married recently, and then
Uh-huh.
listen to what he did for his honeymoon. Okay,
Uh-huh.
he went. He went to Indonesia first of all. Okay, and first they had to go to like Toronto and then to like Tokyo and then to Indonesia. Like the flight was ridiculous. He said, I'm not kidding, 30 hours of travel it
That's
was.
insane. That's
So
one way or
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I really don't know if he meant.
either way, that's a lot of fucking travel
Yeah, no
time.
matter how you break it down. I mean, one of the flights was like 10 hours alone, you know.
It's so I can't do
So
that.
here's my conclusion on that. Never. Never. Under
Nope.
no circumstance, you could call me right now and say, we have $100,000 waiting for you right now in fucking wherever, some bumble in Papua New Guinea. You fly in, you take 2 planes, it's a total of 14 hours. Then you take a mini plane to fly into the middle of the fucking jungle, and you have to take like a wagon to get up to the top of a hill where there's a tribe, and then they give you the money. No, 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 I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it because as I've gotten older, I've gotten worse on this. To me, and we spoke about this not too long ago, but flying in general, it's kind of like torture
That shit sucks.
because you're in a fucking box, like this tiny metal box, surrounded by a bunch of people you don't fucking know. You're going 500 miles an hour, thousands of feet off the ground, and
Well, minus the just flying aspect, there's the whole like pre-flying shit.
oh, I know the whole process.
Trying to get to the
Oh,
airport, going through security, not knowing like one time I go to the fucking airport, I don't have to take my shoes off. The next time I gotta go, I gotta take my whole fucking shoes and like everything off.
yeah,
I don't
definitely.
get how the system works. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah. I remember one time I went through the TSA. They're like, "Okay, take your dick out and start jerking off." So I jerked off, and then they're like, "Okay, do it again," and I did it again, and then no, I'm so anti-travel. And when he was explaining to me, now the thing is, he only slept for 4 hours before his wedding night, and then after his wedding, like he was able to sleep on the plane, and he was like, it wasn't bad because I was asleep for like 8 or 10 hours. Then I woke up and I watched a movie, did some reading, and we landed. But like, so if you're not really sleep deprived, where you could just sleep immediately, then it's almost like it is torture because you're gonna have to sit in the same fucking spot for that long, surrounded by people you don't know, and at a different pressure environment too. That fucks with me too, man. Like how it's a different pressure environment up there, like with your ears popping and shit, and the air feels
it's
differently.
miserable.
And it
Like,
smells like a fucking plane. Like I hate
that's what
that
I'm saying.
plane
You want to
smell.
crack a window. Like, you want to, well, when you're flying, there's always that shit when it's like you get on the plane, it's fine. And then there's like one person who sneezes, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
Shit's just gonna be fucking lingering on the plane the whole fucking time.
that's a good point, man. I actually never even thought of that. But like, yeah, your air is. I'm sure it's filtered or whatever. I mean, I really
I
have
don't know.
no
Probably
fucking
not.
clue. But it smells like a plane. It smells like that shit has been in the air since 1975, and nobody really's fucking cleaned it in any serious way. I just hate flying in every way, shape, and form. And when I saw that 30 hours, man, 30 hours of travel.
That's insane.
And then he
That's
said,
legit. I can't do that. That's not possible for
but
me.
like also, I'm gonna go further, man. Like vacations in general, what the fuck? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm pro vacation. I'm pro people getting paid time off of work by law. Like, so I'm in favor of all this stuff. I'm in favor of you having time to relax and shit. But like the whole process of, all right, so now, oh, honey, we have a 2-week vacation. Let's go somewhere. And then what do? Okay, well, let's get our, flight lined up. Let's get our hotel lined up. Let's go to this place. Then when we're there, we'll do X, Y, and Z or whatever. Like all that's a process just to set it up. That's like 3 hours right there to set everything up, right?
Yep.
So then you set everything up, and then the day comes. Like, okay, you just got off work yesterday. Today you're going on a trip. Okay, now we got to get to the airport. How far are we going to get to the airport? I thought Becky was going to drive us. Becky's got to work. I don't know. Okay, what are you going to do? Should we take a car service? Okay, call the car service. Okay, no, the cars, they can't come for another 3 hours, and the flight's in an hour. And it's a whole process. So that, let's say
Dude.
you get to the airport, and then you fucking fly, and then you land, and it's like,
I had a fucking flight. So I'm in Chicago now, right? O'Hare's the worst. My flight was at, I think, 8 in the morning. I got to the airport, no joke, at 6 in the morning, right? First, I was flying Spirit Airlines, which is the worst fucking airlines in the world. The line to just check in was OD. I was like, fuck, it's 6 in the morning. Why the fuck are there people here? Get done with it. It took about like 45 minutes. The security line, no joke, looked like it would have taken 4 years. If like I'd still be waiting on that shit. Luckily, there's a lady in front of me who's like, "Oh, my son's waiting in line." I was like, "I gotta go with you." I wouldn't have made my flight. I got there 2 hours earlier. Like,
uh,
and if you're trying to ask like a security person there, they're all miserable. They don't give a fuck.
yeah. But like the
Like,
travel time, like the time to travel itself is almost, it's a cost benefit analysis, and the cost of all of the travel to get to the fucking place to begin with almost outweighs the benefit of when you're there. Like, okay, when you're there, wherever it is, it could be a gorgeous fucking shining blue beach in Puerto Rico, and you're like, yeah, but the flight here and the dealing with the car thing, and then you gotta fucking wait at the airport, and I'm still tired from the flight, and got here late, and it wasn't really worth it, and oh yeah, I gotta go right back to doing that whole process in like 3 days.
Yep.
It's just not worth it, man. Like, and I know I gotta be in the minority, because obviously so many people, are like,
I
I
mean, it's
can't
your
wait to
only
go on
it's your only
vacation.
option. It's your only option to go on vacation is the travel part. Like you can't.
Well, I guess you're right, but people don't think like I do, where I'm like to me, I need vacations from vacations if I'm out doing shit on a vacation. Like everybody was tweeting at me like, bro, where's the fucking show? I don't see the show. Why aren't you putting the show on YouTube? And I had to miss 2 days because I had to go for a
Uh-huh.
wedding. But like the whole process of getting to the wedding, and the wedding wasn't that far from where I am. It was a 2.5 hour drive or 3 hour drive. I had to drive to Philly, and we get there and like checking into the hotel, doing everything. By the time I got back, I was like, oh, now I need a vacation. Now I need a day off because I was so fucking busy doing everything to get there and while I was there and whatnot. That when I come home, I'm like, no, wait, I'm more tired now than I was when I'm doing my show for a normal week. Think about how crazy that is. So to
Yeah, that
me,
shit is crazy.
so a vacation to me involves a beer, my recliner, and just watching TV and surfing the internet all day long. That's it. That's what a vacation is to me, man. And
Yeah.
like, and I'm not one. I don't need a super long one either. Just give me 2 good days, maybe 3 days, just to totally recharge my batteries, and then I'm good, man. I'm good. I could go for months after that. I'm good. The battery's recharged. I'm all set.
See, I'm different though. I hate the whole traveling aspect, but I like going like other places,
Yeah, I know.
seeing like
Yeah.
different like culture type of shit, seeing how
Yeah,
people
you're more
are.
normal than that. You're more normal than me on that. Like I always said, and this is like I always talk about how I may be a super lib, but I have conservative tendencies. No question
Mhm.
about it. Like in how I act in many ways is very conservative. I like repetition. I like a schedule and shit like that. Um so where was I going with that? I was going to say something that was good and I totally lost it. Oh, you're more normal than me on that. Yeah, I still lost it. Um, yeah, no, I mean, just broadly speaking, you're more normal than me on that, on in doing that in general. Like
Mm.
you like vacations, you like it once you get there and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really super conservative in the sense that I don't need to change the scene that I'm in and stuff. Like stay in the same place, give me a beer, give me a recliner, call it a day, let me relax, and I'm all set. And I think most people agree with you. Like they want to
Mhm.
go elsewhere. Like for me, I can see some shit on Google Images, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like. Whereas you are more along the lines of like, no, I want to go there. I want to see it. My mom's the
Yeah.
same way. Normal people are the same way. Like, no, I want to go because I want to go to Paris because I want to see the tower. The Eiffel
Yeah.
Tower's so nice. And I'm like, bitch, Google Images that shit. The Eiffel Tower right behind you. Um, yeah, that does make me weird. No doubt about it. All right, so I think I got one more topic here. Let me just check real fast.
I wanted to ask you about those fucking inmates. What do you think about that shit?
Oh, the guys that broke out?
Escape. Yeah. So well, quickly, I have my like, I still have, I don't do shit, so I still have my New York license plates on out here in fucking Illinois.
Mm.
So I was at an ice cream store with my fucking fiance now, and some old ass dude, like so he's parked next to me, right? And then he gets out of his car, comes up to my window, and I was just chilling in the car because I didn't get any ice cream. And he was like, "You don't have the inmates in your car, do you?"
Oh my god, man.
I was just
That's such
I
a
just looked at him,
typical.
and I was just I wanted to fucking punch him in the face so
That's such a
hard, like,
typical like I see a New York plate right now. I'm going to
oh.
make this joke.
I was like, "Yeah, I have them in my car. We stopped for. They wanted ice cream."
I almost I almost didn't believe the story because it was
That like
so
it
outlandish.
was out of the movie, right? I didn't see the movie, but the same shit happened. They just used power tools to fucking escape through a manhole or some shit.
Yeah. I didn't even report on it on my show because it was so
Oh,
outlandish that
really?
I was like, yeah, I thought I almost didn't believe it, number one. Number two, I thought there's no way they're not going to catch him like now, But I don't think they've caught him yet.
No, I read something yesterday that This one guy in upstate New York by Binghamton has like I don't know 5 acres of land. That's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's a decent amount.
Yeah, and like so they thought they had them cornered off in that 5 acres of land, and that was either yesterday or 2 days ago. I read that, but I guess they still haven't found them. Like
Yeah, which is crazy, which makes the story even crazier. They could definitely make another movie about these guys for sure.
that, like,
Um,
but what can they do? I mean, like, well, oh, they said they fear that they can eventually just blend in with society soon or some
oh, of
shit.
course,
Like
they just look like normal dudes, man. How many
if you grow a
people?
beard or shave their head, or but they have like distinctive tattoos and shit that like you'll get caught eventually.
If I were to see those guys right now, I wouldn't know who the fuck they are. Would you? Like, if you literally went outside and the dude's just
Oh no
chilling
no
with.
no,
Yeah, I wouldn't know them. So that's the thing. Most people are like us. I follow the news for a living. I don't know what the fuck they look like.
that's
You know?
true. But they have like a like one of them has like tattoos on their hands or some shit. Like there's some shit that could give them away eventually. But like if they,
All you gotta do
uh,
is go to Canada, go to Mexico, leave the U.S. somehow, and you're set.
yeah
You're all good,
yeah.
man. If these motherfuckers end up in Belize, they're good money. They'll go on a beach and chill the rest of their lives. A story I wanted to mention to you is I didn't get to do this on my show on Friday,
Hmm.
but a guy in Texas can't stop fucking horses. His name is Cirio Castillo Jr. He's 45 years old,
Is he
and
Mexican?
no, he's German. No, his name is Castillo. Of course he's Mexican or
Oh
Spanish, whatever.
yeah.
So he
Sorry.
was arrested 2 other times for fucking a horse. Not the same horse, but 2 other times he sneaks into the same barn. This poor woman owns a barn, and like every time she looks out her window, there's some creepy dude tiptoeing into the barn. Fucked a horse 2 other times. This time, the horse kicked him, and he broke his leg. So he was laying in the barn with a broken leg after he tried to fuck a horse, and the medics had to come and pick him up. And they're like,
That's
"What were you
weird.
doing, bro?" And he was like, I hurt my leg in a car accident on the road, and then I kind of crawled to the barn here for cover." And they're like,
Oh,
it's not even raining, man. Why would you crawl for cover?" He's
he's got like
like,
a boner.
I mean, I'm sure it went away by the time they got there. But
Well, that
yeah,
goes to back to like what we talked about when we first tried to record this shit was just like fucking weird fetishes, and it's like, is that some shit that like you develop or
yeah,
well,
dude.
that's weird as fuck.
Yeah,
Is
so
that a
that
fetish that like he can't control?
so apparently he's into bestiality, and he got 270 days in jail for public lewdness the first time around.
Uh-huh.
When he had sex with a horse, and he also ate out a horse, like he licked a horse's vagina.
Oh, that's fucking weird as fuck.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, he obviously is just super de duper attracted to horses to the point where 3 fucking times he sneaks in there. He got caught, I think, every time. One time he spent time in jail. This time he's gonna get. They got him on something else this time. I think like trespassing or some shit, and he's gonna spend more time in jail now. But they didn't get him for actually fucking the horse this time because by the time they got in there, he had a broken leg and he was on the ground, and they couldn't like prove that that point in time is what he was doing, even though that's what he was doing.
Oh my
But
God, dude.
but like, so I was thinking about it, like, what the fuck is society supposed to do about a guy like this? You know, like obviously, look, you can't fuck horses, and it's not consensual, and the horse obviously kicked you, did not want you to fuck it. Case closed.
Yeah.
End of conversation. You can't fuck horses, obviously. So what do you do with this guy? They already locked him up twice. As soon as he got out, he went right back to doing it.
That's
Is
where you
it's
gotta seek some help or some shit.
Yeah, but it's like I was thinking about it, man. If somebody really is wired that way, where they have like, if this guy being attracted to horses is the same kind of compulsion that I have when I'm attracted to a girl with a nice voluptuous ass, there's no hope.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna fucking be attracted to horses no matter what you fucking do. So what do you do about it? What do you do with this guy? And I don't have an answer. That's why I'm posing this question. Like, okay, I get it. You want to give him a little time in jail again? Whatever, fine. It's not gonna be a deterrent. As soon as he gets out, he's gonna tiptoe towards a new barn and try to do the same shit over and over. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. I mean, I guess the only thing that you could possibly do is there's got to be some medications out there that seriously like drop sex drive. And if this guy takes medicine, like some sort of medicine
Nothing's
that,
gonna help, man.
well, if he takes medicine that just makes him much less horny, Like then, and he only wants to fuck a horse like once every 3 days, as opposed to every like 5 times a
Imagine he's in
day.
like sex rehabilitation, and it's like everybody's going around like Tiger Woods. There is like, I can't stop fucking these women, man. It's just crazy. Another guy's like, yeah, man, we had like 6 in one night. He's just like, yeah, these horses are crazy, and they're like, oh, so you call your hoes horses? He's like, nah,
Nah.
actual horses.
Some other guy's like, man, these beluga whales, son. Let me tell you, they're so
Do you think
warm.
is his porn like the Kentucky Derby?
Well, I was gonna say, imagine how many times he fucked horses and didn't get caught. Like they just
That-
caught him 3 times in this one barn. You think this dude's never tiptoed into other barns before? This
That's
dude probably
true.
got a list of barns up and down the highway that he just goes up and down that shit all day. He's in
Oh,
Texas, son. In Texas, there's
yeah,
horses in many places.
that's
He
true.
probably goes, oh my God, he probably goes in there and he looks around. He's in a barn with like 18 horses. He's
That's
like, I'm
so
gonna
funny.
line these bitches up and go to work.
They might have kicked him
Ugh.
because his shit like horses are known to have fucking big dongs, so maybe his shit was little
Yeah.
and the horse was just like kicking him because his shit was not right.
Dude, sexuality's fucked, son. Like, sexuality's fucked, you know? Like,
Oh, Louis C.K. had the best fucking stand up that I heard just recently. He was just like, the thing we love the most, which is sex, is the thing we're most private about. He
yeah.
was like, you would think like everyone in this audience right now, their most favorite thing to do is the shit they won't really tell anybody about.
Yeah, and I love how everybody thinks, like, everybody thinks they're the only one, you know? Like, right when you come into your own sexually, like the first time you jerk off, the first time you have a sexual experience with a girl or whatever, like, you have this thing in your mind where you're like, ooh, I figured something out. Who else knows about this? I don't know. Like, you think of, like, you're fucking
But
Sherlock
I can't
Holmes or
talk
some
about it. I
shit.
can't ask about it.
Exactly. Meanwhile, everybody else is doing the same shit around the same time they start doing it. You know, it's so funny how there's like this, you know, it has to go back to just the fact that I mean, at our core, we have these ape brains, you know, like just these old school brains that evolved over so much time. And like at one time, the further back you go, the more primitive we are. At a certain point, we're just basically fucking chimpanzees or gorillas. We look like that, you know? And it's like, you look at the way they act now, look at the way a gorilla acts, look at the way a chimp acts, and you're like, oh, okay, so I see that a lot of the same urges and compulsions that I have that are my most primitive ones, that's where that comes from, you know? Like, it's the same thing going on within us. Have you ever been
Hmm.
really fucking hungry and you can't wait? I'm gonna fucking house that burger, son. I'm gonna kill that shit. And you get, you eat it like a crazy person. It's like, what
Hmm.
is that? Well, it's the same shit you see when you see a fucking chimpanzee in the jungle
Just
gets a
going at
fucking nut or some shit, berries like they haven't eaten in a long time. When you see, you know, on the Discovery Channel or some shit, a gorilla's fucking another gorilla, and it's like, you know, looking around like angrily, like they mount it, and it's like, it's like you do what? You think you look different when you're fucking somebody doggy style in your bedroom? Like if they got a camera on you, you're making some funky faces, motherfucker. I hate to tell
Yeah,
you, but
that's
you don't
true.
look like you're on some sort of model shit, you know? Like a lot of the shit that we do, people don't realize is kind of based in those primal urges. I mean, when I'm like yelling on my show about some shit, like there's a deep visceral hatred of somebody like Rick Perry when he says something stupid. That's like, you know, like if me and Rick Perry were fucking apes back hundreds of thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, whatever the fuck it is, you
Uh-huh.
know, like, and uh, we would be fighting. Like, we would be fighting. You know, he hates me, I hate him. Back then, we'd hate each other for territorial reasons or fucking mating privileges or whatever. Today, it's just we have a philosophical disagreement, but it's still the same kind of visceral anger
Yeah.
and feelings that we have, you know? Like, we forget. People think that's something that always pissed me off about conservatives is that they think we're so special humans and so above and beyond every other living thing on this earth. Bitch, not really. You have the same number of hair follicles on your body that a monkey does. Okay? People don't like to think about that. You know? Like in many ways we're fucking exactly like them. You shit. You shit and you piss. Your dog does it too, you know? Like when you look at another species or animal do it, you're like, "Oh, little animal doing what animals do."
We're the
Bitch,
same
you do
thing.
the same shit. So what? You
Yep.
do it in a little room where you close the door and you have a toilet seat? You think you're special all of a sudden? Motherfucker, your shit stinks too. What the fuck? You know, it's this feeling of like superiority based on not much. Like, yeah, we obviously have capabilities and capacities that go above and beyond that of other animals for sure. But it's like the weight that people put on that is often significantly more than is deserved. Like, oh, we know that we can die. Great. Oh, we can have conversations like me and you are having right now. Great. It's worth something for sure. It does show that we have extra capacities and whatnot. But does that mean that, like, chimpanzees are here and we're like, fucking 87 trillion levels above? Not really. No. It's more like that, So it's funny how people, they don't like to think about these things objectively because then they start to feel like they're not special and then they, then they start questioning everything. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, got anything else?
The guy fucking the horse. Did you see the guy who fucked the muffler on Bill Maher?
Oh, yeah. Bill Maher did something about that where he's like, new rule, when somebody catches you on video fucking a muffler, stop.
Yeah.
Because you see him, like, pumping and looking back. Like
that shit was fucking weird video.
Yeah. People do some weird shit when they're horny, man. Like, imagine, I don't even know the longest I've gone not busting a nut, but imagine going, like, a really long time. Imagine just going.
I wouldn't go to a muffler, though.
Yeah, me either. But imagine, like, just a week. If you go a week.
Yeah.
Like, the urge must get to the point where you're just fucking horny 24/7. All you're thinking is, like, just anything. You probably see inanimate objects that will turn you on because of the shape of it or something,
That's true.
That extreme, over-the-top, ridiculous level of horniness. Where you just need to touch your shit and it's splooge city, son. That's another thing that people, like, going back to what you were saying, people don't like to talk about that urge.
Yeah, I know.
Meanwhile,
it's our fucking favorite thing, but we don't talk about that shit.
I'm of the belief that, like, how people get in trouble, like, oh, this person was jerking off in a bathroom stall, in a public bathroom stall. I think that's less disgusting than somebody taking a shit in there. Like, take a on the highway, a rest stop, like a rest stop on the highway.
You're okay with someone beating off?
Yeah, like, that's less disgusting to me. If they're in there minding their business, they got, like, some net porn on their phone or whatever, and they're just beating off. That is less disgusting than if I walk into a bathroom and I have to smell the disgusting smell of some fat dude taking a shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not crazy, dude. Think about that. We're just so used to, like, that. The other one is more taboo. So, you think, oh, somebody's jerking off. Ooh, nasty. But what? You walk into a giant public open bathroom with stalls and 8 people are shitting. And you're just that's just what people do in the bathroom. I don't see what the problem is. The problem is the fucking smell and the stench and the sounds and
there's like actual feces coming out of your body. Like,
it's just fucking parasites and viruses and diseases coming out of your bowels, and everybody's just like, it's just whatever. It's just what people do. No, motherfucker. I'd rather somebody be jerking off in the stall that has no smell whatsoever, much more sanitary, That puts me in a small class of people. I don't think many people would agree with that.
Probably not.
Because people that's the thing, like, there have been stories of somebody getting arrested in a public bathroom for jerking off behind the stall. Not doing any weird, creepy shit where, like, they're looking at other people.
Not harming anybody, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if anything, the people were looking at them were a criminal to me because they're just minding their business beating off. I mean, obviously, if you're making super loud noises, there's a problem. But if you're just minding your business real fast, yeah, no, we're weird about sex, dude. People are weird about sex.
Son, who wins the finals tonight?
The game's not tonight. I thought it was tomorrow, right?
Tonight.
Somebody told me it was Monday.
Nah, tonight.
Oh, it's tonight?
Yeah, man.
Fuck.
In Golden State.
Well, I predicted at the beginning of the series Golden State in 6, so I'm just going to stick with Golden State in 6. I mean, they got to win the next 2 games for that, but I'm going to stick with that just because I made that prediction.
Curry hasn't gone off yet, so he needs a game to fucking, like, explode.
LeBron's doing too much heavy lifting, dog. That's it.
They're so tired, and they're talking about now playing Sean Marion. Like, if you're going to fucking have to revert to Sean Marion, like, he's got guys on his bench that have won championships, but he's not playing any of them. But they're all old as fuck.
Yeah, LeBron. I mean, think about it. LeBron tried to win it. LeBron tried to win it himself when he was with the Cavaliers originally.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Because nobody, I mean, look, if anybody could do it, it's him, but nobody can do it is the point.
Yeah.
You know? Like Golden State, I've been getting a lot of Twitter arguments about Golden State because I think they're a really fantastic team, and some people are like, no, they have these weaknesses and that, this weakness and that weakness and this and that. No, the other team is injured and yada yada. Yeah, but dude, the ELO rankings, 538 had a great article about the ELO rankings. Like you can rank the overall how good a team is, however they do it statistically in this interesting empirical way of looking at it. According to the ELO rankings, Golden State is like only behind Jordan's Bulls.
Really?
For
Their team is fascinating. They have a fucking phenomenal team. They just
67 wins it was? That's absurd. Now, obviously, it matters what happens in the finals and all these caveats and whatnot, but if you're a team that empirically was only ranked behind Jordan's Bulls, I find it hard to hear out arguments where people are like, no, they're not good. Somebody told me they're not good.
yeah, like
They're
stop
not
that.
good. They're not
Yeah.
good. So how do they? And the argument is, well, it's just in the regular season they had those good numbers.
No,
Yeah,
you gotta
but
squash that.
but what happens to good regular season teams in the finals if they're not good in the playoffs? I should say, they fucking go away. The Rockets in 2007 and 2008 had a 22-game win streak. They were ridiculous. They got knocked out the first round.
Yeah.
So what happened when they
Regular
got to the
season
playoffs?
is
They
fucking
sucked.
hogwash times. Yeah.
So it's this. So okay, if the Golden State sucked, they would have been out first round, maybe second round. Look where they are right now. You know, like I hear you that there are injuries on the other teams, and they got in that way they got a little lucky for sure. That's a factor. But the idea that Golden State is not good, or the idea that they don't have it in them to win a championship, well, if they don't have it, then nobody has it in the world except Jordan's Bulls, and that's it. Because they
Yeah.
rank even above and beyond teams like you and I would say, no, I think the other team is probably better. Like Kobe and Shaq in 2001 with the Lakers. If you asked me before looking at those numbers, I would have said, of course, that Lakers team is better than the fucking Golden State Warriors today. Empirically, at least according to one good measure, that's not true. So we'll see, man.
Yeah. I think Golden State wins tonight. I think they win pretty good.
Yeah.
13-point victory.
I'm not going to get specific with it, but I said Golden State in 6, so I think they're going to win in 6.
Yeah, that's a good prediction.
So we'll see. All right, got anything else? Or
Yeah,
you
this
wanna
right
wrap it
here.
up?
When you getting more swag.
I do not know. Lilith set it up last time. We'll do something at some point, but stuff like that, I have no time to think about anything.
Yeah, you could care less about that until you're like you'll come out one day with like a Dove hat on or a new sweater or some shit, and you'll just be like, oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Lilith does a great job taking care of all that. I'll talk to her. We'll do something soon enough. All right, man. Great talk as always. Everybody, thanks for
Hopefully this
listening.
shit works, man.
Yeah, there's like a 90% chance it works, 10% chance it doesn't. Whatevs, dude. What are we going to do? All right, guys. Love you to death. We'll see you next week. Everybody have a good one. Later.